Okay, what about missing values? So, as I said, if you want to take one thing from the variable wise practices, it should be about outliers. And the second thing should be about missing values. And indeed, the missing value is the most important thing. Okay? Because somehow the outliers, well, you can deal with them. But the missing values, you have to. Okay? You cannot ignore them. They are ubiquitous and they damage your analysis. So you have to learn how to deal with them. Missing values. What are missing values? They are void. They are empty cells in the data. Actually, there are different ways to represent missing values. It might be lack of any character or digit. It might be an NA or null value or anything like this. So this is a variable 15. There is nothing here, 16, 18. Or it might be this the same thing, but here NA. Or it might be something like null here. Or it might be something that the data collector have decided to use as a missing value, like -99. Okay, so there are different conventions, but the best one and the most common one in the age of the computerized digital data collection is just a blank value. Why do they matter? They might tell us something about the data. Missing values of age for clients that receive pension. So they might be a relation between the missing values and other variables. So everywhere that we have, let's say, we have, I don't know, whether interested in football. Okay, this is yes, this is no, this is yes, this is yes. So when you will figure out that in most of cases in this imaginary data set, for instance, when the football is no, then the age is missing. Okay, and then you have to figure out why this is the case. So missing values can tell you a story about the data, can reveal a pattern. But also they are important for sake of predictive modeling. So some predictive methods cannot work with missing values. For instance, neural networks, you have to have a complete data set in order to use a neural network for prediction. Otherwise, the prediction of the cases with missing values would be also a missing value. Basically, the neural network won't do any prediction for the cases with missing values. So if this is a prediction and you want to use a neural network for this for the prediction, this one would be something, let's say yes, this one would be nothing, this one would be yes, this one would be no. Let's say that the prediction is yes and no, and this one would be a question mark, basically a missing value. If your neural network actually works, sometimes at the start your neural network stops working and it will tell you that I cannot do the prediction because, or even training, because there are missing values in your data. So missing values are important because they might tell you something, okay, tell you they might be about a pattern, or they might altogether stop predictive methods to learn. In general, records with missing values are not fully usable and they are not totally useless as well. We need to do something about them. So we talked about how to detect them. It depends on the data set. In most cases, it's just a empty place order. Okay, there's nothing here. But sometimes there are like NAS, not available, NA. And sometimes it is a null and more. So there are different conventions. But the most important part now is how to treat these missing values. Well, this is the real deal, and let's review some strategies to do so. So the first strategy is removal of the record with missing values. Okay, if we have a data set like this, missing value is a variable-wise issue. This is a missing value. This is a missing value, let's say. And this is for variable 2 and variable 3. So it says that, okay, let's keep item 1, item 2. Let's remove item 3 altogether from the data. Let's keep 4 and 5. Let's remove item 6 from the data. And let's keep the rest. Okay, there is a problem. There are several problems here. One of them is basically by removing these records, you are losing all the available values. So this was available, this was available, this was available, this was available. So you are losing all the available ones. Also, it is the case that normally we don't have just missing value in one column. There is a missing value here, and there is one here. And then there is a missing value here. So if you want to remove variables based on records, based on having a missing value, then you are losing a big part of your data set normally. So we should do something else about them instead of reducing the dimension of the data set. Data is very valuable. So this removal is basically distortion of the reality and waste of valuable data. What about filling missing values? What about guessing the value that is now missing? Well, the question is how to guess. A simple way, the simplest, is putting random values in the empty cells. Okay, if this is 15, 17, then something that is missing 18, 19, 21, something that is missing 28. Then you might say that, okay, let's put 25 here. Let's put 17 here. And these are just random things. Or no, you want to use a constant value. Let's put 20 in each missing value location. Okay, in this variable. Either of these cases are too lazy. Okay, they're not considering anything. They're not smart enough. There is a little bit better way, more justified. And it says that, okay, you have some available values, right? So let's average them. The average, let's say, is 19. And then put 19 into the missing values. This is a little bit better approach. And let me tell you, it's not missing values can be on categorical data. So let's about pet, this is cat. The second family has a cat. The third one has a dog. We don't know about the fourth one. The fifth one has a ferret, and so on and so forth. So instead of average, we can use mode here. They say that most of the neighborhood has they have cats. So let's put cat here and fill this missing value. So we can fill the missing value by either totally random or no, something that is coming from that variable, the distribution of that variable. But still, there are better approaches. In general, filling missing values is called data imputation. So I coined the term of data imputation also. And it is when you just discard the record using the record that has missing values. Okay, and I said that, as I said, this is not a very good practice except for the cases that that missing value is. So that's a story related to the stage 1 data quality. That record is not presenting the reality. Otherwise, we should keep the records with missing values and we should impute the missing values. So we said that the simplest approach is putting random variables in the empty cells, a bad idea, or putting one single random value from the for the missing value of a variable, still not a very good idea, like putting a 20 in every missing value for the age, not justified. The values can be not so random. They can stem from the distribution of the corresponding variable, for example, using mode of categorical variables or median or mean of numerical variables. This is more acceptable. A better approach is filling missing values of variable A, let's say. So here I have a variable A and a variable B with regards of the corresponding values of variable B. So for instance, variable A is about age, and variable B is about pension in a data set of a bank. So this is yes, this is yes, this is no, this is yes. And this person is 25, this person is 85, this person, the age is missing, this person is 65. Okay? So you say that, okay, I'm not going to use mean because the mean, the average of variable A won't be very meaningful because we have seniors and juniors in the same data set. So why not looking at B, and when the B is yes and A is missing, let's put 65 there. So if A missing and B equal to yes, then imputation is 65. Okay, it's a little bit smarter than the other approaches, because it is considering actually another aspect of the person, whether the person receives pension or not. So this is a good idea, to use another variable and its association with the variable with missing values. And let's capital on this idea. Let's expand it. Let's guess the missing values based on all available values. So if this is var1, variable 2, variable 3, variable 4, and this is a missing value, let's not only consider variable 2, but also variable 3 and variable 4. Let's consider all of them, and based on the association with variable 1, let's guess this missing value. And this is something very familiar. This is basically the idea of predictive modeling. So we can train a model on the rest of the variables in order to predict the missing values. Okay? So for instance, if 30% of variable 1 is missing, we can train a model on the rest 70% and then predict the values of this 30% missing values, treat them as a test data set, okay, as new cases. This is the best strategy. This is very good. And this is what we do in our module.